we were in Rogersville for about a month and a half. And when we got, after that, I went home. And 2 days later, I get a call. SWN is back. We got their compound. I said, holy crap, I'll be there tomorrow. First thing in the morning, I went on the road, I was hitchhiking. And I ended up getting a ride pretty quick that day. And when I got there, like I seen videos online, this whole community, the allies that we developed over that time, and all the social media attention we got, there was enough people to do a round dance around the compound. The compound was like 300 feet by 400 feet. It wasn't small. And they did a round dance, and that was the day before I showed up. And when I got to Big Cove, both of the ends were blocked. It was nighttime I got there. They were like, don't wear your camel, because if you wear your camel, they're not going to let you in. I said, I'm going to wear my camel. If they try to stop me, I'm going to disappear in the woods. So here I was, all dressed up in camel, and everyone was going between the cop cars. I just walked right beside the cop car. He didn't even see me because I was dressed in camel. So I got in, and there's everybody there all together. They had already set up camp. There was food. If you were hungry, there was food. And there was drumming going on. And it was amazing because there was a website. It was called Shale Gas Alert. So that's where if something happened, you went on Shale Gas Alerts, everyone came. And that was the help we needed. So and you guys got beer with me for okay. When we were at the blockade, there was food and everything you could go eat, and there was drumming. And during that summer, I had reestablished my tradition, that tradition I had lost. I went back there and I regained my tradition through the drummings, and they taught me how tradition really was. I thought it was traditional until I had gone up to Big Cove. It wasn't traditional. And they drum and stuff, and it felt good, like the feeling you get, the atmosphere. There was a point in time when we had 500 people we were marching with, and the women would go on the front. They were drumming, and there was a little girl all dressed in regalia, and the warriors were behind them, walking behind, making sure they could be safe. And that was so strong, that moment. We all walked, and that whole thing, we had drums going all the way up. That was the most amazing part. I felt a sense of pride I had never felt before. And they ended up raiding us on October 17th. And all that pride I got, and I couldn't stay away from it as a book. It was an addiction, that feeling that you get from the pride and that good feeling you get. It feels good and you can't stop. So I kept going back for that feeling. And on the day of that raid, I was in Elsie Bookdub, so I went back. I heard on the Shale Gas Alert that there was a raid, and it was real this time. They said, it's real, the raid's gonna happen. So I went out. And when I got there, I went to they called the West Gate, was at the back. Not towards the ramp, but it was on this side. And when I went through, there was a bunch of cops there. They said, where is it? They see me all dressed in camo, and I had my school bag. I said, I'll bring my school bag so they won't know what's in there. I said, maybe I'll have a chance. I was armed with my clothes. So when I got to the cop cars, they're like, you can't go in. We're forcing the injunction. You can go in if you leave your car, but you have to walk in. So we parked the car and we walked in. And they're like, as soon as we started walking in, they grabbed my bag. They said, where's your grenades? Where's your grenades? We know you got grenades. They grabbed my bag, about 6 of them grabbed my bag at the same time. And they're searching my bag. They were some pissed off when they only seen clothes. But by the time I seen them all focus on my bag, I was gone in the woods. So I took the very first way. I said, okay, I'm going to take this way. I thought it was the safest path. So that's what the RCMP must have taught. If he's going this way, which way is he going to go? So they must have thought, they knew that's where I was going to go. When I got there, there was a little gully. There was a bunch of RCMP in there. I didn't stand a chance. So they all arrested me. And when I got arrested, I still had my cigarette in my mouth, and they put my hands behind my back. And then one of them slammed me on the ground. He's like, stop resisting, stop resisting. And he slams me on the ground while my cigarette's still in my mouth. And I got burnt when they were doing, because there was a bunch of them pinning me down, and they pinned my face down right on my cigarette. And I said, oh, that hurts. And I went like that. And then they charged me with obstruction of justice, attempting to headbutt an officer. And then he put my head back down. And when he put my head back down this time, he was twisting my head. So he knew the cigarette was there, and he was trying to butt it out with my face. And then it hurt, so I went like that again. I flinched, and I got charged with resisting arrest. I accumulated 2 charges just from that incident with the cigarette. And there was a point in time when we were in the compound, we were watching the compound, and I seen one of the guards go like this. He was like this, telling his buddies, like, I don't know what that means. I think it was like a board or something. He was in the woods like that, so he was up to something. And I told the boys, I said, he's like this. I don't know why he's in the woods like that. They charged me with uttering death threats to do grave bodily harm. So I went to jail, and I was there. They said, okay, you might get out. Some people are getting out tomorrow, like this evening. We're just going to give them promise to appear. So a few of them got out. I said, maybe I'll get that chance. I might get out. I didn't get that chance. So the next day, they sent us to court, a bunch of us to court. And they said, if you go to court and you get released, they'll release you on a promise to appear. Few of them got out. At the end, there was 6 of us left that were held without bail. And with me, my bail hearing was 2.5 weeks, mostly on stuff that was even relevant to my case. 2.5 days. And during that time when I was in jail, the first 3 weeks, I was in the hole. They held us in solitary confinement. They put us in the unit at first, but they decided for operational means that they were going to extract us all at the same time. So they rushed the boys' cell, 2 of them. The first one's downstairs. They rushed their cell. And I see them going by with their handcuffs. I said, I wonder what they did. I said, they must have been up to something. Then they go to the next level. Then they grab the other 2. And then I was like, holy crap. I said, I think we're next. I told my buddy, we're next, man. And I kind of got riled up. And I was like, why are you guys taking us, man? You guys shouldn't be. I felt offended because they're only dragging the natives out. And I went anyway. I said, if I resist, they're going to take me either way if they have to drag me. And I'm pretty sure they would love the opportunity to drag me to the cell. So I listened to their orders, and they told me hands behind my back. And they held me going down the stairs, their spiral stairs, backwards, all the way to the hole, which is, I say, about, it's a pretty long walk anyway. Backwards, they had me like this. My hands were up like that. And when they put me in the hole, they wouldn't give me any contact. This was the first day they put us in there. This was the following morning when we were supposed to get our admissions call the next day. We didn't get our admissions call for 3 weeks. I was in that hole. I tried to call my mother. The last thing my mother knew was that there was the RCMP raided our camp. And back home, the rumor was that they were shooting everybody. people were getting shot. And my poor mother, by the time it gets there, by the time you start here, and then by the time it gets to this end, it's a whole different story. And my mom, but I went to my trial, my mom was there. I couldn't say hi to her, I wanted to. And then when I was being strong, I was like, hi, this was the courtroom. I was like this, handcuffs and waving at everybody. And then I see my mom, my face went straight. I almost burst into tears right there. As soon as I see my mother. And I seen how hurt she was too, because I think the nature of our offenses, they put us in a top security courtroom. There was a big glass there, like must have been bulletproof glass. It was a little box. They kept us in there the whole time. So the whole 3 weeks we were in the hole, they wouldn't give us no reason. They said no phone calls for operational means. It's for all inmates that were arrested with shell gas protests that are being held in New Brunswick. So we went 3 weeks, and I ended up getting my call anyway. 3 weeks later, my mom was happy to hear from me, because all the other times it was just waving and that was it. But the whole time I was there, I must have sent in about 6 official requests to get a spiritual elder to come in to give us spiritual advice, to give us traditional smudging and stuff. They brought someone once. My lawyer did a press conference, and after that press conference, the next morning they had someone to smudge us. But after that, they said, you got to ask the chaplain. The next time, you got to ask the chaplain. So I asked the chaplain. He said, I'll try my best. I'll see what I can do. And I kept asking him. He kept saying, there's a Holy Bible if you want. There's a Holy Bible, he kept telling me. But I didn't have smudge or nothing. They did that once. And the whole time I was there, the pride I had gained all that summer was slowly being taken away from me. With the jails, them putting me in the hole. We got strip searched about once every 2-3 days. 2 days, 3 days at the most. And we got strip searched while we're in the hole. How are you supposed to bring in contraband when you're locked in the cell 23 and a half hours a day? It's next to impossible. But they found the need to strip search me every few days. And to me, I don't think it was they weren't trying to find contraband. I think they were trying to use that as a form of punishment. So I didn't have my tradition. They kept strip searching me. They took my pride away. Then it was on December 20th. They said, okay, Coady, if you plead guilty to that headbutt incident where you obstructed a police officer by attempting to headbutt him and resisting an officer and uttering death threats. If you plead guilty to those, we'll let you out today. And I was like, you're damn right I'm going to plead guilty. So I pled guilty. I went home. It was on December 20th. And I didn't want to be away from my son any longer, so I said, I'll take the deal. I plead guilty to anything. Just get me out of here. And that's what I had to do. So they even made me take another guy's charge. Something that was clearly on video that I wasn't guilty of, but they said if I pled guilty to that also, that I would be out that day. But they let me out anyway on the 20th, and here I was pleading guilty to stuff I wasn't guilty of. But I did it. I didn't have my pride when I got out. So it took a while for me to get back into my culture. Actually, I didn't get to smudge for it. It took me 3 weeks to actually smudge myself. From every day practicing my religion to taking 3 weeks. I had the opportunity, I had my smudge bowl, I had my safe, but I didn't touch it for 3 weeks. So I was a little scared with what happened with the whole incident. And it was such a public incident, and the way the guards treated us. And I asked the guard, why are you putting us in the hole for such a long time? He said, well, what he told me was that this jail is owned by the government. and you're just protesting against the government. Of course they're going to put you in a hole. And I think about my two brothers still there. They're not my blood brothers, but between warriors, when you're a warrior and you see another warrior, that's your brother. And they're still in there, they still never got to smudge after that one time. And it's difficult time when you're going to jail and you can't get in touch with your spirituality. So having the opportunity to come to Big Cove to British Columbia was a pretty good experience. I never spoke to this many people. I'm sorry I'm not really awake, but that's about pretty much all I could say. But all I ask is for you guys to keep the two brothers still in there, keep them in your thoughts and keep them in your prayers, because they can't pray. Pray for them, because they need everybody's strength.
Stay a while. Stay in BC a while.